Yeah, welcome to the IT and Entrepreneur Forum clinics. We have Dr. Shivagaru, we have Dr. CL Venkatrao Garu joined, we have Dr. Mohan Gupta ji, and we have Geeta Madam. I think some people might be joining. There are some technical glitch, I think. Some people are not able to join. They are just calling me. But Shivagaru, just go ahead.
Yeah, hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Can you please allow me to share the content?
Yeah, one second.
It's asking only the host can share in this meeting. So I have brief presentation so that I can make.
Okay, one second. Dr. Kundan Shah also joined from London. Thank you, Kundan madam. Yeah, you are host now. Dr. Shiva, you are host now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I myself am Dr. Shiva Kumar. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. And today I'll be sharing a small presentation with you. You see the presentation?
Yes. We can see it. We can see it.
Yeah. So I'll be telling in brief about the mental health issues in this COVID-19 pandemic. I myself am Dr. Shiva Kumar. So as we all know, currently all of us are experiencing a lot of emotional trauma, thoughts and situations which we have never experienced before. Probably a lifetime experience that we are all going through, a very rough phase. The pandemic of COVID-19 is on a completely different scale, and it has shaken the entire world and created global panic. As COVID-19 initially crept in and subsequently spread at a galloping pace, it is affecting country after country, and we are all suffering a lot. So I just want to present it in a case-wise manner so that it will be very easy for us to understand, and later we can discuss about in detail about the psychological conditions that we all see in day-to-day practice and all. So there is a case one where Mr. Y, a 40 years old bank employee, became very anxious that he'll get infected. The bank authorities have provided him sufficient personal protection equipment like mask and glove, which he knows is sufficient protection, but he's very anxious most of the time, feel panicky sometimes, and at home, he becomes very angry for trivial reasons. His sleep is disturbed, and he feels that food doesn't taste good. He continuously watches WhatsApp forwards and keep checking the news on COVID-19 on the internet. He manages to do his work, but he often goes only because of his wife's insistence. So this is the most common scenario that we see in our daily routine practice, where these people come to us, and the most common scenario where they present with heightened anxiety, but are still managing to carry on. This could possibly represent an adjustment disorder. The symptoms like sadness of mood, anxiety or worry, fear of contracting an infection, persistent preoccupation with illness worry, inability to cope and some degree of dysfunction, sleep and appetite disturbances will be seen. In adolescence, these symptoms might be associated with opposition defiance, like not listening to their parents or to truancy kind of a thing. Another disorder that we see, generalized anxiety disorder, it is characterized by excessive worrying and persistent free-floating anxiety. That means the anxiety is present in whatever they do. The daily routine activities which usually they do will all provide them undergo a lot of anxiety. The symptoms include persistent nervousness, feeling anxious or tension, restlessness, and feeling as if they are on an edge. Irritability, muscles will become very tense and tight. They have lack of concentration, sleep disturbances, and some will present with physical symptoms like excessive sweating, feeling lightheaded, palpitations, dizziness, and epigastric discomfort. And if another condition called panic disorder, where is an extreme form of an anxiety characterized by recurrent unexpected attacks of severe anxiety that reaches a peak within few minutes and lasts for not more than few minutes. Usually it lasts from few minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes to max of 30 minutes. And there will be an impending doom of death. They feel as if they are going to die and they rush to ERs and all. There is an associated fear of having more attacks or avoidance of the triggers of panic attacks. Most of the patients might feel that they're about to die or lose control or go mad, and they end up in medical emergency setting. There's another disorder, panic disorder, where we say. Another case scenario, this is the most common scenario that we all see in anxiety kind of disorders. Next kind of disorder that we all see is another example where Mrs. N is a housemaid and then her husband lost his job in a textile job as it is closed down, and after which she has become sad and withdrawn. She had reduced interaction with others, including her neighbors to whom she was close to. She has become very slow in her work and feel tired most of the time. She had made lots of mistakes in her cooking and reports that she can't remember things. When asked, she reports that she has become very sad and worried after her husband's job loss. Now she's the only earning member. She feels hopeless and thinks of dying, but feels that she needs to go on at least because of her two young kids. This is another scenario which we all see. So this amounts to a depressive disorder where the symptoms are like low mood, decreased or loss of capacity to enjoy things. We call it technically as anhedonia, decreased energy levels, marked tiredness even after doing a small amount of work, reduced activities, reduction in activities and feeling restless, the low attention span and then lack of concentration, complaining of poor memory, sometimes to the range we call it a pseudo dementia where they forget most of the things, loss of self-esteem and confidence. They feel very low, like the confidence levels become very low. Ideas of worthlessness or having done something wrong, like guilt kind of a feelings, feeling of helplessness, and there is no hope for future, death wishes, suicidal thoughts and attempts. And along with that, there is biological dysfunction like sleep or appetite or sexual dysfunctions can also be seen in these disorders. In the third scenario where we see is Mr. N's husband V, after losing his job, has become is like most of the time he's drinking and smoking heavily. He has started borrowing money to drink and often pick up fights with the wife and beats his children after returning home late at night. Susan has never seen her husband like this in the 10 years of marriage and feels that he needs help. This is another scenario where we see that most of the people after losing job, staying at home, then become addicted to these kind of a alcohol or smoking heavily. So they fall under a disorder called substance use disorder, where there are two types, like harmful use or they become dependent on these substances. Like harmful use occurs, which means that there's a damage to the health due to alcohol or tobacco or because of any other drugs. In this case, harmful effects could be physical. Like if you take most commonly in North Telangana, we see more of alcohol-related disorders, like lung, liver-related issues or psychological issues like worsening of mental health issues, anxiety, depression. Some even develop psychotic features. And continued usage even after this harmful use can lead to dependency or addiction, which is characterized by a strong desire. They'll be compelled or they'll be constantly thinking how to procure alcohol, and difficulties in controlling the use. Like once they start, they can't stop with one or two or three packs, and then they can go on taking it. Persistence of drinking despite harmful consequences, though they know that this is harmful, this is causing a lot of physical and psychological issues, but still they can't stop it. And high importance is given to use of substance use disorders than to other activities, like going, and then they're always anxious that when they're going to stop, like going to stop these wine shops, and also to go and procure a lot of alcohol and keep with them. They increase tolerance. Initially they may be taking less quantities, but now to get the same effect they take a lot of they increase the quantity of alcohol, and when they don't take, they develop withdrawal symptoms, like they will become very anxious, they'll have tremors of hands, they may have sometimes have hallucinations, delusions also as a part of withdrawal. So other issues that we
Shivagaru,
see
can you
during
talk bit
hospital
louder?
quarantine.
Shivagaru, can you talk bit louder?
Okay, fine. Am I audible now? Is it fine? Hello?
Fine, fine.
Hello?
Yeah, fine, Andy.
Yeah. Okay. So the mental health issues that we see during hospital quarantine are like illness anxiety disorder, that they're more worried that are they going to develop a serious kind of an illness, though they need admission into hospital or they need ICU kind of a treatment. So though they're more worried, they always think that what is going to happen. Another thing, that anxiety that we all discussed previously, the anxiety they present with having palpitations, anxiety, then feeling as if they're on edge, and depression. Some will feel depressed and then feel like there's no hope. They lose their confidence and they become very hopeless. An acute stress reaction, like acute stress reaction is suddenly they become very anxious and something might have happened in their house or something has happened very bad to their relatives, and they go on thinking about those kind of things and they'll be in acute stress. And some will have end life crisis, then they are in ICU kind of things and all. What is going to happen if I go there? And some will be having already pre-existing psychological problems, that they might have depression in the past, they might have anxiety in the past, and these things will again recur back and they feel terrible in these issues. Another thing that we notice is domestic violence. The violence is likely to increase as the persons are likely to be in closed, confined spaces during these lockdowns. And the most common reasons that we find is financial crisis due to lockdown, may lead to increased conflicts, substance use related and perpetuators that we see, reduce opportunities to go out and seek out for help for a violence is also seen. The simple tips that can be followed at homes is encourage members to have separate times and together times so that they can have space for themselves and also they have time together. Be aware when conflicts are escalating so that they give each other's emotional space, and not to dwell on small stuffs. Lower the expectations from each other so that the quarrels are reduced. And we should plan the day, like they should restart having their regular hobbies, their part of exercise they should start doing, and they should work to reduce times of conflicts. These are simple tips that families can follow. Another issue that we all see is like we are seeing the losses, like a lot of deaths are occurring during this pandemic, and then handling grief is another important issue. Some people are losing their very close family members and they become, and grief is very difficult to handle. So handling grief is another issue that we see. So we need to acknowledge the feeling of loss, allow them to express their feelings. Like if they, some will cry, some will be in shock, some will have denial. So if the person is crying or in shock, be with the person and don't interrupt them. Give them time to express their feelings. Allow them to talk about their loved ones if possible. Ask them what they need. Help them to connect with persons who will support them. Ask them what support they want for what next happens. If you don't have any answer for the question, acknowledge that you don't know what to say. If there are many members of the family and want time with each other, allow them to allow the space to talk to each other. Provide them with the contact details of the person if they need anything in details. Ask them to communicate with their mental health professional if the emotional worsens. The simple tips that we can all follow is like being positive, relaxation exercises, like probably pranayam can be done, or deep breathing exercises that we all recommend. Yoga, social collectiveness. There should be connection. You should not be left alone. You should not be lonely. And leisure activity should be encouraged. And if you find any kind of these disorders like anxiety, depression, or any kind of acute stress disorder, probably early identification and then taking proper counseling or treatment per se will help. And this is brief so that we can all discuss. So that's why I made it very brief. Yes, stopping the presentation part.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, like, anyway, let's other doctor also will continue. We'll have questions a bit later.
Yeah, okay.
Dr. C.L. Venkatrao garu, go ahead, Andy.
You want me to speak in English or Telugu?
Telugu, sir, better. He spoke in English, right? You better talk in Telugu only.
You want in Telugu?
Yes, sir. I am fine. But I'm just talking English, sir, because some people are from different states
Why
also.
I'm asking it, there may be some people who may not understand Telugu.
Yeah, sir.
And there
Better.
may be people who cannot understand English. That's why I'm asking you. I can go in any language.
Yeah, please talk in English.
Yeah, that's some people, if they don't understand, they feel bugged.
Right, sir. Right.
So, I don't think there's anybody who can't understand English in this group. Am I right?
Yeah, sir. Like all are, most of them are like 99% are comfortable.
Some parents are joining the groups, then they may not understand. But anyway, majority are English speaking now.
Right.
Thank you. I'll go in English. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for the nice service activities what you are carrying out. It's a good gesture and taking the help of the medical professionals. And Dr. Siva has given a brilliant exposition about what is happening. Wonderful scenarios, what all is happening. He has given the situational analysis. Excellent. I compliment him for his excellent presentation. I see Dr. Mohan Gupta is friend of mine and he is very much into service. I've been seeing him for the past 4 decades, for the past 40 years. Wherever there is a service required, he is with them. And I'm very glad to find him here in this group and helping the community. I would like to give some bird's eye view concepts and then you can ask for clarification. The one first thing is about the monoclonal antibodies. Monoclonal antibodies, they came into existence for the treatment of COVID only when the then President of America, US President Trump, got the disease. Then they have used these monoclonal antibodies, but that time he did not receive the cocktail. He received only one monoclonal antibody, not 2. Then his response was excellent and he did not have any symptoms and his election campaign went so on. And since then, the monoclonal antibodies have gained popularity all over the world. But unfortunately, our Indian government, though the Cipla company and Roche has applied for import into India, it took about nearly 7 months for the Drug Controller General of India to give clearance for the monoclonal antibodies. It's the delay on the part of the Drug Controller General of India. If only they were to permit early in November 2020 itself, it would have saved a lot of lives. If this monoclonal antibody is given early, very early, first 7 days, it should be given. The cost of the drug is about 60,000 and the Cipla company is importing from Roche. Roche company is based in Switzerland. The mechanism of action is it neutralizes it acts as a neutralizing antibody and it doesn't allow the virus to multiply. And the indications are who should receive this is all the people who are above 60 and people who are suffering from comorbidities, that is chronic diseases like lung diseases, heart diseases, TB, cancer, thyroid, obesity, any high risk group, they can receive this and the response is excellent. And initially the Cipla company has imported about 2 lakh doses. And now the experience of the private hospitals and corporate hospitals and many of the practitioners is excellent. And though it is not indicated, I don't think there is any specific indication for young people who do not have any comorbidities. Less than 60 having chronic diseases they can take. Hale and healthy young people, it is not indicated. But I don't know what is the experience of the thing. It does not require any admission into the hospital, single dose, outpatient intravenous injection, wait for an hour in the hospital and come back. It is giving excellent results. We have lost a lot of medical practitioners, doctors, VIPs, bureaucrats and politicians. If only this drug was available in India, way back in November, December, the minute the Trump got cured, it would have saved certainly long due for its approval. Anyway, it's past is past. Now we are using and a lot of practitioners are happy with it. In terminal disease, there is another treatment that is stem cell therapy. People are on ventilator who are bad, who are in a very bad shape, who are on ventilation or who are on ECMO. This stem cell therapy, it has given quite a substantial encouraging results. I have seen, and my team has administered about 100 patients, and the response is quite good. And this again, the stem cells are, this is made from the umbilical cord, from the placental cells, and they have to be given in 2 doses spread across a period of 3 days. It is again a little costly experience. This each dose costs about 2 lakh rupees. So they have to shell down nearly 4 lakh rupees for it to be, it can be used only for rich patients or well-to-do patients. These are the 2 modern things that we have used, and the response is good. The ivermectin, World Health Organization has cautioned twice, and there is one Dr. Swati Swaminathan. She is daughter of Swaminathan. Formerly, she worked as a Director General of ICMR. Now she is a Chief Scientist at the World Health Organization. She also explained that there is no indication for ivermectin in treatment of COVID. Even today, people are using ivermectin. There is no indication. Similarly, favipiravir is a drug. It doesn't have any positive effect, and it doesn't serve the purpose. Similarly, remdesivir injection, it does not do good, and there is no documented data to say that remdesivir has really saved any life. This is another drug which is being abused. Similarly, there is a black fungus fear amongst the public. Black fungus, it not only occurs in COVID, it can occur in anybody. If sugar is not controlled, they have sugar and they don't have a glucometer at home. I would suggest everyone to have a glucometer, all the sugar patients. It can occur in sugar patients who are not properly controlled, cancer patients, kidney transplant patients, or any organ transplant patients, and TB patients, or kidney diseases, where all the occasions where the body resistance is decreased, the black fungus can occur. One need not worry about black fungus. Any doubt or suspicion, if they go to a ENT doctor, first consultation has to be made with ENT doctor. The lives will be saved. Only people who have delayed, they have lost their eyes, or they lost their lives, and they lost their upper jaw and lower jaw. It's all because of delay and not consulting the ENT doctors on time. That has led to this problem. And I am one of the proponents of using high dose steroids and early steroids. So far, over a period of nearly 1 year, sitting at home, I have done only video consultations, WhatsApp consultation, and Zoom consultations. And I have treated nearly about 10,000 patients over a period of 1 year. The whole job, right from morning to night, is treating patients only. The response with high dose steroid is very good. People have dropped their oxygen from 90 to 95. I have used 64 milligrams of methylprednisolone 3 times a day, and their oxygens have improved. Without oxygen and without concentrator, such are those people who can have a backup. I've asked them to put a backup of oxygen concentrator or the oxygen cylinder. I was one of the person to use the oxygen concentrators very early in Telugu states. Then if the oxygen drops between 85 to 90, I straight away start with IV methylprednisolone and continue for 3-4 days depending upon the situation. And that gave good response. People have dropped below 85 with oxygen or without oxygen. I started on methylprednisolone 1 gram and then followed it up with 500 mg. All these patients were treated at home. Initially, I suggested such are those people who drop below 93, go to hospital. Subsequently, I gained confidence. Even today, if somebody calls me, 70 is their pulse oximeter reading, I tell them, start this methylprednisolone IV 1 gram, put a concentrator and oxygen cylinder. I started treating at home. Their response is excellent and very good. And Dr. Sivakumar has rightly projected, nearly 10% of my patients and their relatives, they are very anxious And I've been using, it is Dr. Sevkumar to comment about it. I have been using Lobajam. Some people 5 milligram, and most of the patients, they are getting 10 milligrams of Lobajam, 1 dose at bedtime. And this Lobajam is really working very well. Prior to that, I've been using this Mirtazapine, 7.5 milligram or 15, mostly 7.5. And this fluoxetine in the morning, Prodep like preparations. But ultimately, ever since, I never used so many Lobajam tablets to anybody. I was earlier using for my irritable bowel syndrome. I commonly see a lot of patients, thousands of patients have irritable bowels. They used to do well with acetalopram or mirtazapine and then fluoxetine. But Lobajam, this usage I've started with this COVID only. I find the relatives and the patient themselves are comfortable. They're getting good sleep. Their anxiety is allayed. And what I find is some of the people have got another psychological problem. They don't get satisfied with one consultation. They consult 10 doctors. And finally, he takes a decision. He takes his own choice drug and he leaves steroid thinking that steroid will kill him. And when I suggest anticoagulant, this apixaban, he doesn't take steroid and he doesn't take this anticoagulant. He uses all his medicine and finally he lands up his death. And he is inviting his own death. And some people have got mania of seeing these videos, YouTube videos. They will only concentrate on the chemical engineer videos. And the fellow who doesn't know what is anatomy, what is physiology, he keeps on telling some nonsense and rubbish. And these PhD doctors have really spoiled the minds of people. And there, my Lobajam is working. Lobajam tablet is working well. These people are confusing. The politicians, the PhD fellows, without knowing medical knowledge, they have spoiled the minds of the people and they were responsible for this anxiety and things. People have made multiple consultations. They did not do well. And I find some of the people died also. And unindicated medicines. They keep on using allopathy, Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, Siddha, and finally Krishnapatnam Anandaya medicine. All medicines they are using, and that's how they become manics. They become, they develop into a phobia. This is another problem what we see in the patients. With this, I will stop. And any questions in whatever the areas, what little I know, I will try to give clarifications about it. I once again compliment Sivakumar, Dr. Sivakumar, for his nice, excellent presentation of all the scenarios. What he has nicely described about what all the scenarios that can happen in this COVID situations. And I compliment the IT team for taking up a very, very good initiative of giving information to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, CL Venkatrao garu. AP Reddy garu, can you just you talk for a few minutes? AP Reddy garu.
Yes, good evening everyone. ఈ పాండమిక్ టైంలో డాక్టర్ సిఎల్ వెంకట్రావు గారు కానీ, డాక్టర్ శివకుమార్ గారు, డాక్టర్ మోహన్ గుప్తా గారు, ఇక్కడ ఉన్న డాక్టర్స్ అందరూ చేస్తున్న సేవకి పేరు పేరున తల వంచి నమస్కారాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. మీరు చేసిన సేవ ఎన్నో ప్రాణాలను కాపాడింది, ఎంతోమంది జీవితాలు నిలబెట్టింది. నిస్వార్థపరులైన డాక్టర్లు ఇంకా ఉన్నారని చెప్పని మీలాంటి వారిని చూస్తే కొంత అర్థమవుతుంది. స్వార్థపూరిత ప్రపంచంలో నిస్వార్థులు కూడా ఉండడం వల్ల కనీసం ఒక పాదం మీదైనా ఈ భూమి నడుస్తుంది. మీరందరూ చేస్తున్న సేవని ఎప్పటికీ మేము మర్చిపోలేమని చెప్పని, ఇప్పుడే కాదు ఇంక ఫ్యూచర్లో ఒకవేళ 3rd వేవ్ అంటున్నారు, 4th వేవ్ అంటున్నారు. ఈ వ్యాధి ద్వారా, ఈ వైరస్ ద్వారా, ఈ కోవిడ్ ద్వారా ఎన్నో నేర్పించింది ఈ కరోనా. మనుషులకి మమతలకి, బంధాలకి, అనుబంధాలకి వ్యత్యాసాలు నేర్పించింది. డబ్బు ఉంటే ఏంటి, డబ్బు లేకపోతే ఏంటి నేర్పించింది. ఇన్ని నేర్పించిన ఈ ప్రపంచంలో రాబోయే రోజుల్లో మనం ఇంకా కొంత సేవ చేస్తే కనీసం హాస్పిటల్కి పోలేని స్థితిలో, అంటే డబ్బు లేక పోలేని స్థితిలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళని కూడా ఎంతో ఇంత ఆదుకునే విధంగా మనము ఫ్యూచర్ ప్లాన్స్ చేద్దాము. ఏ విధంగా అయితే ప్రభుత్వం 3rd వేవ్కి 4th వేవ్కి ప్రిపేర్గా ఉండాలంటున్నారో మనం ఇలా సేవ చేసే వాళ్ళందరం కూడా 3rd వేవ్కి 4th వేవ్కి సేవ చేయడానికి ప్రిపేర్గా ఉండాలని చెప్పని నా ఆకాంక్ష. నాకు తోచిన సహాయం నేను ఖచ్చితంగా ముందుండి చేస్తాను. మీ అందరితో నేను ఉన్నా అని చెప్పి తెలియజేసుకుంటాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ ఏపీ రెడ్డి గారు. మీరు చేసిన సేవ చాలా గొప్పది. ఎందుకంటే ఒక 13 మంది పేషెంట్స్ కి మీరు ట్రీట్మెంట్ ఇప్పించినారు. నేను యాక్చువల్ నా ఫోరం తరఫున కూడా మీకు అందరికి కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్తున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే 13 మందికి హాస్పిటల్స్ బిల్ కట్టడం చాలా గొప్ప విషయం అండి. ఇంకొక విషయం నేను చెప్పదలుచుకున్నాను మిత్రులారా, ఏంటంటే ఇన్ని రోజులు మనం ఈ ఫోరం ఎక్కువ హైదరాబాద్ మెట్రో సిటీస్ లోనే ఎక్కువ మంది ఉన్నారు. కానీ ఈ రోజునే నేను ఆదిలాబాద్ ఒక చాప్టరు, కరీంనగర్ ఒక చాప్టరు, నల్గొండ ఒక చాప్టరు, మహబూబ్ నగర్ ఒక చాప్టరు, నాకు కూడా ఇంకొంతమంది డాక్టర్ల సహాయం ఉంటే నేను ఇంకా బాగా విస్తరించి బాగా సేవ చేయగలను అని నేను మీ అందరికీ విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నాను. కొంచెం నాకు డాక్టర్స్ హెల్ప్ చేయండి మీకున్న నెట్వర్క్ లో.
Sure, we are with you.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. మోహన్ గుప్తా జీ, అన్మ్యూట్ అండి, అన్మ్యూట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అండ్ టాక్.
Thanks for calling me.
యా,
I know there are a lot of things which are controversial in this time, but we did whatever we could at our end. Whatever ICMR guidelines were there, a lot of things which we were not supposed to use or supposed to use. Incidentally, I did not use remdesivir in the first wave. For second wave, I have been using remdesivir. Ivermectin also I have been using. I don't know, but it has been helping a lot of people at the initial stages. Right on day one, my straightforward thing is you hit the nail before it stops. So day one, any symptoms, any abnormal symptom, you think that it is corona and treat accordingly. Hardly any treatment is involved. It doesn't involve much money also. And at least my circles, lot of people have not gone into symptomatic stage. So I think the basic thing is, first, any abnormal symptom, you just keep a watch, observe the patient and start treatment at the earliest. That's my idea and that's how I have been working. And it's very nice to see Shivkumar and especially my very close friend or rather teacher. We work together, Dr. C.L. Venkatrao, as I told you in the morning. He has been very close friend. We have worked together for a lot of patients which were given up. He is one patient who never gives, one doctor who never gives up on patient. At the same time, I am very happy to see A.P. Reddy Garu and you yourself. I have been following you. I have been seeing, though I don't participate much in the group, I have been seeing you and I hope that you keep your good work on. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మోహన్ గుప్తా జీ. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ హెల్ప్. వెన్ వి ఫార్మ్ ద గ్రూప్, యు ఆర్ ద one of the first doctors with us. So that was, that gained my confidence. So doctors are with me.
Yeah, we will always be there. See, there are black sheep in every herd. So
Right.
you can't bank on. And if you have a person like C.L. Venkatrao, I can definitely feel that your work is very honest and ethical. I know him as a person. He will not associate with every Tom, Dick and Harry. I can tell you that much. You are muted, I think.
Yeah, oh sorry, I was muted. Thank you Mohan Gupta ji. Kundan ji, actually she is one of the doctors from London. Kundan ji, please talk for a few minutes. Unmute yourself and talk, ma'am. Madam, am I audible? Okay, seems we are she's not able to communicate. Anyone else want to talk? Pilot ji, Pilot Swami ji, unmute and talk. Okay, Geeta madam. you are the one of the best COVID educator in the group. Geeta ji. I think anyway, no, I think she lost her connection. Yeah, Ravi or Bala, do you have any questions? Like Ravi and Bala are helping from Relief Riders for us.
Sridhar,
Yes.
Sridhar, good evening. I
Good
don't have
evening.
anything, but yeah, I don't have anything today, but I felt happy to join today's session.
Okay, that's good. That's good, Ravi. Yeah, sir. Like guys, parents, and any questions anyone have, you can feel free to ask.
Om Namah Shivaya. Can I speak?
Yeah, Pilot Ji,
Pilot.
you can.
Can you hear me? Can all
Yes.
the panelists hear me?
Yes, Pilot Ji, I can hear you.
Om Namah Shivaya. Let me first of all regret that I'm joining this meeting little late. I suggest any such future meeting could be communicated at least a day earlier so one can plan accordingly. And secondly, let me congratulate you all to be in this meeting for a great cause, and especially you, Sridhar, for such a great initiative through your son.
Yeah, thank you.
May you be blessed. May you be blessed and remember in posterity. What I want to share is that I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm 82-year-old now. I have a master's in 7 disciplines, including engineering disciplines, and I have PhD in 3 subjects. But with my experience and knowledge of nursing and paramedic, which I was trained in armed forces, now the vaccine which we have developed all over the world, basically it is what I understand is only immunity booster. Now I do not understand a science which has progressed in the last 200 years, developed a vaccine and says it's 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90% effective. And it has to be taken in 2 doses and maybe a booster dose every year. Either we develop a medicine which cures a disease. If pandemic is a disease, then it should be curable. And if it's not curable yet, then we do not have a medicine. Second aspect, if it's immunity booster, then it is only affected maybe 2% of the world population, and probably 0.1% of the people have died. I mean, this statistics, if we look globally, people die because of natural deaths, accidents, and natural calamities every day anyway, in that proportion. So what I understand as a person of spiritual science, as a traveler of the spiritual science, is most important that we develop a healthy lifestyle, proper eating habits, proper sanskaras, proper exercise, as you may call it in the today's world. In my mind, it's yoga and pranayama, and that can help, and that only is the best fighter for this pandemic or any disease for that matter. Although I'm a man of physics and chemistry and mathematics, but we have yet not developed any medicine against cough and cold to begin with. What medicine we develop in allopathic science is basically preventive. And so is other sciences, in Ayush sciences also. So our lifestyle habits, our eating habits, yoga and pranayama is a must. Tomorrow is yoga day. Let's all participate in our own way, whatever fashion we do. It is recognized world over. It is recognized by the United Nations. So our lifestyle habits, our sleeping habits, our eating habits, our sanskaras and family habits are the best fight against pandemic. To begin with, this is my initial observations. May I put this across to the esteemed panel and let me hear their views on the areas which I have initiated. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be in this panel today.
Thank you, Pilot Swamiji. Thank you very much.
Let me again congratulate you for great initiative you have taken. You should be laudable not locally but nationally, whatever you're doing, and you should be suitably rewarded and initiated. And I will do whatever possible to put you on the right platform to be congratulated and to be suitably honored.
Thank you
so much,
Swamiji.
sir.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like any questions? Or you want to clarify with doctors?
Yeah, I would like to ask questions with all the doctors.
Sure, go ahead.
See, is third wave is guaranteed?
Shall I respond?
Yeah, please.
Okay, first I would like to congratulate and compliment Swamiji. He has brought in the correct concept, which I also believe, because already Dr. Sivakumar has touched, I did not get into yoga. Any video, I always, rather than treatment, even my patients, I insist they should go and do yoga, pranayamam, dhyanam, and limited exercise without exercising much of stress on them. This pranayamam is a good exercise for the lungs and increases the oxygenation to the blood. And yoga, pranayamam, dhyanam and limited exercise, it gives deep sleep without any medicines, and they sleep well, automatically the immunity goes up. The body immunity is good when they sleep well for 6 to 8 hours. And the real concept is immunity. Even our vaccine is what we are enhancing is immunity. I have started way back January 2020 itself, when the disease about to come into India. I have started a homeopathy medicine to boost the immunity. I have used arsenic alb in consultation with Ministry of Ayush, and for about nearly 2 months we have given arsenic alb, and I have taken the feedback. We have given a pamphlet writing my name and the number. I asked them to inform if they get COVID. So far we have not heard anybody getting it, but subsequently we have discontinued that practice because of the so many restrictions. Similarly, the body immunity, it gets enhanced because of the nutrition. I insist that they shall take good nutrition. Even I go to the extent of giving 1 liter milk per day consumption. Milk, curd, buttermilk, eggs, and also for non-vegetarians, chicken, mutton, fish and prawns. So Swamiji has rightly pointed out, such are those people who have got good immunity, and a lot of people are mistaking immunity means antibodies in the blood. No, immunity can be top, antibodies can be zero. The real immunity is the bone marrow produces white lymphocyte, white cells. Out of the white cells, there is one variety called lymphocytes. Again, in the lymphocytes, there is one variety called T lymphocytes or killer lymphocytes.
Dr. Garu, sorry for interrupting you. My question is, మనకి ఇప్పుడు మూడో వేవ్ వస్తుందా? వస్తే మనం ఏం చేయాలి?
I am responding to Swamiji's question.
Yeah.
I am responding to him. I have not come to your thing.
Yeah.
I am about to conclude with Swamiji's remarks.
Yes, sir.
So the T lymphocytes, there are no facilities for our existing laboratory to estimate and assess the capability and the strength of the T lymphocytes. Some of the doctors, even they are thinking that antibodies are ultimate. Antibodies does not reflect the immunity of the body. Anyway, once again, I compliment him. Now I take up your question of APD. first of all, I thank you and for your humanitarian approach of saving 13 lives. Really, and we really congratulate you, compliment you, and we appreciate your gesture.
It's a
ఎంతో మనకి ఎంతో
small help
ఉంటుంది.
towards the society, sir.
మనకేమీ తరగదు, ఏదో మనం చేస్తే మన ఆస్తి ఏం తరిగిపోదు. మీరు చేసిన ఆ యొక్క ఆ సేవకి హృదయపూర్వకంగా అభినందిస్తూ,
Thank you, sir.
my friend Mohan Gupta, you send him a patient today, even today, he runs a hospital and a diagnostic center. Mohan, this patient is poor. Do the test free. Without collecting even single penny, he does the treatment. It is not today's culture. He has inculcated in his blood and in genes. I have started seeing him way back in 1986. From 86, I've been seeing him. Every time, tests are done free of cost. Treatment is done free of cost. That is his service mentality. I really compliment. I've seen him more than 4 decades of his career in the medical profession. He does operations free of cost. That is his real service mind. With regard to your question, whether we are going to have third wave, I am fully committed. My job is only one work. I am COVID. Literature, study COVID, attend meetings in COVID, and learn COVID, practice COVID, and make some videos on COVID. I've been doing this job since January 2020, nearly 18 months. I am full time doing only one job. I am not going to hospital, sitting at home, starting in the morning till night, till sleep, only one job. My analysis is based on the experience of US, Britain, Israel. They have effectively controlled the disease in a two-pronged approach. One is lockdown. Second thing is vaccination. Such of those countries who are very aggressive in vaccination, they are very successful. We don't get third wave in India because I believe in only two things. One is vaccination. Today, now we are in the mark of around 28 crores of doses. It is not 2 doses that is important. It is 1 dose that is important. If you take 1 dose, we can prevent the death. If you take 1 dose, you can prevent the hospitalization. If you take 1 dose, you can prevent the drop in the oxygen level. So 28, my forecast goes to, by August 15th, my prediction and forecast is we are going to become corona free. That means almost the numbers will come to 1,000 to 2,000 per day. Deaths will come down to 100 or 200. That is February first week level, we are going there. By that time, my prediction is 65 crore doses will be administered by August 15th. I have studied the manufacturing companies, their technologies, their capabilities. I am fully conscious about it. Now our capability of India is, soon we are going to have 30 crore doses of vaccine per month. That will go up to 50 crore doses of vaccine per month. And my prediction is India is going to produce more than, we are going to use and produce more than 200 crore doses of vaccine in India. By 31st December 2021, the entire population in India is going to get first dose. 31st March 2022, second dose is going to be complete. There is a criticism in public why we have donated 6 crore 60 lakh doses to the 13 countries. That time there were no takers. When the vaccine companies are producing, nobody to use. Till we got the second wave, the consumers in this country, even the 50% of medical profession have not taken the doses. If we have consumed only 2 crore doses by first week of February, when the second wave has started. The pickup has come only after the second wave has set in. So now there is no need of any propaganda or publicity for the vaccine. Those 13 countries who have taken the first dose, now they are asking India, Baba, you have donated, you have sold for 6 crore 60 lakhs. What about our second dose? They are asking for it. We have only donated at such a time when the godowns were full, there were no takers. and medical professionals, 50% of the doctors, 50% of the nurses, 50% of the paramedicals have now taken. This is one area. Vaccination is going to safeguard third wave. Other one is the herd immunity. Now, as per the data available, Indian Council of Medical Research Sero survey, Sero surveillance, 30% of the population in villages have got already antibodies. Without their knowledge, they got the antibodies. In metro cities, 50% of the population have got the immunity by virtue of the herd immunity. So, about 65 crore doses of vaccine, another 70 crore doses, 70 crore population already covered by herd immunity because they got the disease without their knowledge and they got the antibodies. That's how the country is going to be protected. August 15th, that is going to be the decline of the disease, and we are not going to have the third wave. People are predicting from October to March, there's going to be a third wave. My analysis, my prediction, there is no third wave in India, and we don't have to worry about the children. Children are also going to get the vaccine in July. Our country is going to start vaccination between 12 to 18 group, subsequently 6 to 12 and 2 to 6. Today, Andhra Pradesh government has done a wonderful thing. They have identified 8 lakh people, lactating mothers, one single stroke. They have given 8 lakh doses of vaccine. The mother vaccine is going to protect the kid also. There is a literature flowing that the kid also gets protected. That means today Andhra Pradesh government has protected 16 lakh individuals, 18 lakh mothers and 18 lakh kids. That's how they got protected. And the exercise what our Commissioner of Cyberabad, Mr. Sajjanar has done, wonderful exercise. I want your IT group also to do similar exercise, mass vaccinations. Mass vaccinations are going to solve the problem. In a single day, Sunday, 40,000 vaccinations, Medicover hospitals and Cyberabad Security Council and Sajjanarji, they have made it possible, uneventful, 12 hours, 40,000. And when hepatitis B came into market, I was responsible for doing mass vaccinations of entire Andhra and Telangana regions. I conducted mass vaccinations for 1 crore population spread over a period of 1 year. When only one vaccination, Shanta Biotech, Shanvac was available, I promoted mass vaccinations. That's how I got interested in vaccinations and virology since 1996. I take the privilege of promoting hepatitis B that was costing 100 rupees that day. Today it has come down to 5 rupees and it has become part of universal immunization. So that's how I developed the interest on vaccination. I am of the view there is no third wave in India.
Thank you, sir. Shiv Kumar garu question, sir.
Please, sir.
సార్ డాక్టర్ వెంకట్రావు గారు చెప్పినట్టు నిజంగా థర్డ్ వేవ్ రాకపోతే అదృష్టవంతులము, దేశ ఆర్థిక పరిస్థితి కూడా పెరుగుతుంది. దురదృష్టవశాత్తు పొరపాటున వస్తే మీలాంటి సైకాలజిస్టుల సేవ కూడా అవసరం. ఎందుకంటే చాలా మంది ప్యానిక్ లో ఉన్నారు. నేను బిజినెస్ లో ఉన్నాను, బిజినెస్ వాళ్ళు ఎంత ఇబ్బందులు ఉన్నారో నాకు తెలుసు. నాలాంటి వాడు గట్టిగా మొండి ధైర్యంగా ఉంటారు కాబట్టి ఐఎమ్ నాట్ వరీడ్ అబౌట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐ లాస్ట్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐ ఎర్న్. బట్ చాలా మంది ఏంటంటే కొంత పోతే మొత్తం పోయిందన్న భావంలో ఉన్నారు. అటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఎవరన్నా వస్తే దయచేసి కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఇవ్వాలి మీరు.
చేస్తున్నాం సార్.
ఇప్పుడున్న డాక్టర్స్ అందరికీ ఏంటంటే వెంకట్రావు గారు చెప్పినట్టు నిజంగా రాకపోతే మాత్రం నిజంగా భారతీయులే కాదు ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్న అందరూ అదృష్టవంతులే. అది రాకూడదనే కోరుకుందాము. వస్తే ఏం చేయాలో మనం అందరం కలిసి అప్పుడు ప్లాన్ చేద్దాము. వస్తే ఇంకా యునైటెడ్ గా అందరం కలిసి కొద్దిగా పేద ప్రజలందరికీ చేస్తే బాగుంటుందని నా ఉద్దేశం. రాకూడదనే కోరుకుందాము. శివకుమార్ గారు మీ సేవలు ఒకవేళ అవసరమైతే మాత్రం తప్పకుండా మీరు అందిస్తారని ఆశిస్తున్నాను సార్.
డెఫినెట్లీ సార్. వీఆర్ ఆల్రెడీ డూయింగ్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ థింగ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్. చేస్తున్నాము కౌన్సిలింగ్. సింపుల్ గా ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ సార్, అందరికి నేను సింపుల్ కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఏం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నానంటే మన అందరం కూడా వీ హావ్ టు జస్ట్ ఫస్ట్ ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళు వెంటిలేట్ చేయగలగాలి. వాళ్ళ ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేస్తామా లేదా తర్వాత విషయము. అట్లీస్ట్ మనం ఒక చెవు పెట్టి వాళ్ళు చెప్పింది ఏంది, వాళ్ళు చెప్పిన బాధ ఏదో మనం కాసేపు వెంటిలేట్ చేసి వాళ్ళ ఎమోషన్స్ వెంటిలేట్ చేసి హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ అయిపోతుంది. We have to spend some time with them, understand them, and వాళ్ళకి ఏం ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ టెక్నిక్స్ ఉంటాయన్నమాట. లైక్ ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, ఆ ప్రాబ్లంలో హైరార్కీ తయారు చేసుకొని అందులో ఒక మెయిన్ ప్రాబ్లం పట్టుకొని దానికి పాసిబుల్ సొల్యూషన్స్ వెతుక్కొని దాంట్లో బెస్ట్ సొల్యూషన్ తీసుకుంటే సరిపోతుంది. సో సింపుల్ టెక్నిక్స్ విల్ హెల్ప్ దెమ్. వీఆర్ ఆల్వేస్ దేర్. ఇఫ్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఇస్ దేర్ యూ కెన్ ఆల్వేస్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. బాలా గారు, బాల్ కుమార్ గారు వచ్చినట్టున్నారు. ఐ డిడ్ంట్ మీట్ హిమ్. ఐ జస్ట్ met him.
Good evening, sir. We'll catch up soon. Actually, ఇవాళ రేపు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ యోగా డే సందర్భంగా we had a 108 Surya Namaskar today in the morning. So I am literally tired on that. So I couldn't join actively. I am apologizing for that. Thanks for eminent personalities, doctors who have joined us, who have taken out time and helping our group grow more and get recognition for us. Meanwhile, I have seen the first phase and I have seen the second phase now. So most worst situation. Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
the worst pandemic. I'm getting into English because I think most of the people would prefer the same language. I've seen the worst part of it comparative to first phase. The second phase has been a fear mongering, and most of the patients who were requesting us for beds, oxygen, ventilator beds, or medicines and all was a fear of like before the doctor himself saying check for a oxygen bed or check for a ventilator bed, the families of patients were searching for so much facilities outside in the hospital. So taking back to vaccination, okay, as fortunately or unfortunately from today we are living in a society in Telangana wherein the complete lockdown has been lifted. So there is no further lockdown. And if you talk about vaccination also, I agree with Dr. Sir that more than 80% of the population have already taken first dose. That is 18 plus of years. Okay, so the fear of upcoming third wave is for the children who are mostly below 18 years and around 18 to 20 years. So we have not yet completed the vaccination for below 18 years. So if you are confidently, the doctor fraternity says that the vaccination has been completed and the effectiveness of corona third wave will be very minimal. But the fear factor of a parent, whoever I've met till today, the schools which starts from July 1st or very soon, so they are feared this vaccination drive has not yet happened for these children, then what would be the status of them? Because upcoming, like post this rainy season, the season of fever, the season of common infection starts. So the hospitals or the parents who have more fear that to protect to the children, the panic situation which you have faced last 65 days shouldn't arise. So how Dr. Fraternity is very close on heel for this, and how they are coping up with, they are ready to cope up with this current scenario, unexpected one.
Nice, sir. One more request to everyone. Let us join together for a small get together after this pandemic. Otherwise, at least once the relaxation is over, at least let us plan by this month end. So at least the service minded people can come together at one place.
Yeah, sure, Epiredi garu. That's a good, gesture, right?
Can I participate?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sridhar, can I participate?
Sure.
Swamiji hai.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly, you can participate. All are welcome to participate.
परमार्थ के वास्ते संत लियो अवतार, सर्व मंगल मांगलाय शिवा सर्वार्थ साधिके, शरण्य त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमस्तुते. Swamiji, Ashirwad to all. This group, I'm very impressed personally. All the doctors, paramedics, engineers, technocrats, general people, and also social workers, doctors in every field, they're doing great work, and we should have more groups like this in India. Unfortunately, I do not see many groups who are so educative, and they are available across the country. Again, my pranamam to them. May I also suggest that we should speak to English or Hindi language, because I do not understand Telugu. I think many people may not understand Telugu and many other languages. So we should stick to national or international languages for a precise communication. Now, coming back to, let me also compliment Dr. Venkata. I applaud for his knowledge and for his service, and for also for the care and objectivity with which he explained his position and observed his knowledge. And he needs a million applauds. Keep it up, Dr. Venkata. Regarding a few tips on health, immunity. Like Swamiji is now 82. I'll be becoming 83 in this September. I have not yet taken vaccine. Not intentionally. I'm a man of science. Because whenever I make a booking, vaccine doses are not available in Uttarakhand, and I prefer co-vaccine. I would like to advocate with my knowledge, whatever I have heard and read so far, our co-vaccine is one of the best in the world because of its research and ingredients, and also its efficacy and its after effects of the vaccine. Take vaccine. Everybody must take vaccine. Take social behavior, wear masks, sanitize, avoid large groups, etc., etc. These are a must till this pandemic hopefully is over globally. But may I suggest few things, like Dr. Venkata was sponsoring what I made on what initial remarks I made, that use basic techniques like avoid acidic food and take more of alkaline food. I will not dwell more on it because we can all find out what alkaline food is. All market-made fried food, non-veg, alcohol, drugs, they are basically non-seasonal fruits and vegetables. They're all basically acidic food, and they reduce our immunity. Have basic home food. Sleep on the ground if possible. Earth is a magnet. We all know it. It's the largest magnet known in on the Brahmanda. And keep your head on the south, because Earth is a magnet, so we have North Pole and South Pole. If you sleep on the south side with your head on the south, you will have deeper sleep. You will have a healthy sleep. It will keep you away from the basic ailments of cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart strokes and head strokes, and even maybe love strokes for that matter. Sleep on the ground if possible. And also maintain brahmacharya, especially for the people who are married, because the more energy you waste, your immunity level falls. And sex, irregular sex or frequent sex, reduces your body age, reduces your youth. May I also suggest that you can use Mudra Shastra. We have a website, manavsthal.org, MANAV Sthal, STHAL.org, manavsthal.org. We have uploaded a Mudra Shastra book way back about 15 years back when Swamiji was traveling to America. This is the smallest book available on Mudra Shastra. It's a Raja Yoga, which consists of only 20 pages, 10 pages in Hindi and 10 pages in English. And 18 mudras which are prescribed in this book are basically Swamiji's hands only. It is produced locally. It is freely available. It's uploaded on the website. You can download it. If you use that mudras, your immunity level becomes quite high. You can use the Mudra Shastra, is easily available, and you can practice anywhere, sitting, walking, talking. Even in video calls, you can use your mudra. Like I'm using the Gyan Mudra at present, okay, from one hand. And that will improve your immunity. One aspect which Dr. Venkata very precisely said is sleep. Most of the modern world today, we are living on technologies. We have computers, we have, 24 online. We use televisions, we use mobiles, laptops, iPads, and so on. These electronic waves affect your sleep. They affect your lifestyle, they affect your youth, and they affect your longevity. Deep sleep is a must. And most of us today, especially working class, especially in the south for that matter, because Hyderabad and Bangalore being a tech cities, people use more of technologies and sleep very less. You sleep very late. I mean, sleep pattern has gone into after midnight and getting up late or getting up early. So you don't get more than 4 to 5 hours of sleep unless you know the science of Yoga Mudra. Yoga Nidra, you can compensate your sleep from 3 to by 1 or 2 hours of Yoga Mudra. Nidra, you can have a sleep of 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But most of us, we are not aware of it because that is only possible if you state Yam, Niyam, Asam, Pranayam. People say, okay, we'll do, tomorrow is the International Yoga Day. Some of us will do some kind of asanas, okay, some asanas, but that is not enough. Asanas must be practiced regularly. And before asanas, there are other 3 stages. Yes, is Yam, Niyam, Asan. Yam and Niyam, if you do not have, asanas do not give you proper benefit. And along with asana, pranayam is a must. For higher consciousness, of course, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, and moksham comes into play. Unless you have mastered the science of dhyana, you cannot have yoga nidra. So coming back, I will not go deeper into it. We can discuss on some other forum, some other time. I'm freely available on website. We have our Sridhar can circulate our WhatsApp number. We circulate many information in these areas. And also, if required, our website is available, our email ID is there. We can always interact. That's no issue. And great laurels to the technologies which the world has developed in terms of softwares and digital communication that we are talking like this today. So important aspect is sleep, like Venkata said. If you do not sleep properly, and when you sleep possibly on the ground, sleep with your head on the south, and switch off your electronic systems is possible, and sleep early, 10 to 6. In earlier shastras, I mean, our ancient shastras, people used to sleep from 8 to 4, 8 in the evening and 4 in the morning. Get up by 5, get fresh, do yoga, pranayam, and people never used to fall sick. But today it's not possible, I understand, to sleep at 8 o'clock. Try to sleep at 10 and get up by 6. Give half an hour, 1 hour to yourself, okay? And if you have a deep sleep, you see, I'm 82. You can look at my muscles. I'm just giving a demonstration, okay? I still run about 5 to 10 kilometers at a normal speed. I maintain a body, I'm a 5'11", my body profile is, I'm 75 kgs, 42 chest, 32 waist, and 38 hips. And I still maintain 4 to 6 abs on my stomach. I'm a brahmachari, okay? I mean, and my spiritual age is 28 years, okay? But I have contributed to the nation, armed forces and civil services for 34 years. But everybody cannot do it. But my experience is, like Dr. Venkata said, unless you have proper sleep, no quantum of any medicine and lifestyles will give you immunity. Proper deep sleep of 6 to 8 hours is most important. And sleep at night. People think they can sleep in the daytime and compensate. No. Daytime you can rest for an hour or two, but important thing is sleep. Now coming back to third wave, like Venkata has this, given a very clinical and data-based and medical background. I agree with him that third wave in India is not going to be so effective, but we cannot be easy on it. We have to take all the precautions. It can happen, okay. But like he said, I agree with him that by August, September, October, or maybe by December, India should be fully immunized, vaccinated, unless this mutant takes a turn, which hopefully, I pray to God, it does not happen. The world whole is fighting this biological war said to be injected by China. So, and now about children, like Dr. Venkata said, I mean, if children were infected, why were they not infected in last 1.5 years? Why? Because children below 18 are born brahmacharis and their immunity level is very high, 80, 90, maybe 100%. So if you look at the data as in today, most of the children are not affected. And in future also, most of the children will not be affected because their natural body level is extremely high and they're very agile. But precaution must be taken, and due course of time, whenever the trials are over and the medical fraternity is available to provide a vaccine for the children below 18 years, which I presume, like vaccine like Covaxin of India, would be also affected. We are only waiting the trials and data, so the children can also be vaccinated. So I agree with Dr. Venkata that most of the children needs vaccination, but they will not be affected because most of them have that natural immunity. You call it herd immunity or whatever medical language you want to say. The important thing is that we practice yogic life. And in that, what tips I have given is avoid heavy foods, vata food at night, sleep at night, maintain brahmacharya, head on the south, alkaline diet, yam, niyam, asana, pranayam. Learn the science of yoga nidra. I mean, South has beautiful ashramas, great Swamijis, high science of yogic and practicing kriyas. We learn all this and we can remain healthy, wealthy, and wise. Thank you. I'll participate in the next session. Please continue. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And let me listen to my observations from the other esteemed panelists.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thanks for your suggestions. Definitely I'll pass out the information, whatever the website has. I'll definitely do that. Anyone else, like any questions?
So thank you.
Anyone else, like Santoshi ma'am or Venugopal, NK?
With respect to school going kit, I have a query with the psychologist. Okay, my query, I'm not sure whether it is exactly related to COVID or not. Okay, so the way the parents are behaving with kids these days, like everybody knows the online-based educations are not productive, 100% or 90%, not even 50%. Even based on my IT career as well, we don't prefer online guides. We preferred book-based readings. Okay, and due to this online-based educations, children are particularly losing interest in studying, be it classes or book reading as well. Okay, but the way parents are behaving with these kids, like they're like torturing the kids. I'm seeing in most of the classes which my child is attending, the parents are almost complaining and scaring the kids that if you not listen to teacher or classes, I will go and drop you in the schools. See, they are already aware of this COVID-like situation, that it is going to harm me. Okay, so how can we tackle this kind of it's like psycho parenting, this sort of things? How can we avoid that in the parents?
Hello. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. But the scenario is a temporary thing. It is not a permanent thing that we are going to rely only on online education per se. But at least some kind of education has to be given to the kids because it's been for a year or so. So we can't completely say that they should not attend any classes or they should do only offline classes, because in this pandemic it is not possible and this technology is allowing us at least to have these classes. But yeah, if parents are becoming anxious and they're more worried about their academics and then forcing the child, is one thing that we should educate the parents regarding the effects of giving a lot of pressure to the child, which the child may develop anxiety issues, or some children will even lose their self-confidence. These things will be there. Probably proper education has to be given to the parents regarding like how to handle their kids while who attend these online classes. And what is happening is that the children also are getting after online classes, as parents are just forcing them, but they're not monitoring them. The monitoring is one thing that can be done. It should not be very meticulously done, but at least if they can observe what the other child is doing, whether he really attending the classes or doing something else. What usually we get complaints like he's chatting with someone or he's looking into his Facebook or Instagram kind of a thing. So that kind of a little bit of monitoring can be done. And after, once they finish all their classes, like mostly 6 to 8 hours they'll be having, then probably engaging them in other activities, spending some time with the kid, playing group activities or doing something indoor games that can be played. That will help. The parents also has to spend some time rather than giving them iPad or something and then keeping themselves busy is one thing that we need to be careful about. Educating parents is one thing, and we can't completely avoid these things. So this is a part of our life now. We need to balance that. That's what I feel.
Yes, sir. But my concern is the way parents are there.
Yeah, parents has to change. They have to. There should be some orientation classes
Like
as we do for children.
Really scared, sir. They are not even assume, sir. The kids are like first class or second class. Okay, it is not possible for them to sit continuously looking at the cam. Okay, the moment kids turn their head to listen what parent is saying, teacher is saying, no, you're not looking at the camera. Look at the camera. Turn on the camera. You're muted. Unmute. So these are all the. It's like a IT company micro monitoring, sir.
Yes, that is there. A proper orientation has to be given. And for primary children, probably a less amount of time has to be spent, that we need to focus more on upper classes, like from 8th to 10th or something, where they can be strict monitoring. And for these primary children, probably some amount of lenience could be given. And if you consider parenting also, there are actually 3 types of parenting that we usually explain. Like there is something called authoritative, authoritarian, and lenient. So we need to use all these techniques, like authoritative, like having a strict discipline at home and allowing whatever they say they to listen. Authoritative kind of, in authoritarian way, explaining the pros and cons. And lenient is something where we'll give complete lenience to the child and we'll allow whatever they want to do. So these 3 styles will be there, and these we need to know which technique or which style has to be played at what stage. And probably, as you're telling, like primary children, we need to be more careful because the attention span will be very low. And then probably they should have a lesser amount of classes. And that one thing, I think we can even educate teachers or educational institutions regarding this.
Yeah, thank you, sir. If possible, I will try to connect with you offline as for some.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay, I think anyone else has any questions, or you can ping us offline. I'll be glad to connect with the doctors. Thank you, Dr. Shiva Garu, Dr. Venkatrao Garu, Mohan Gupta ji, Kundan ji, and Swami ji, AP Reddy Garu, all like parents who have joined this clinics from the IT and Entrepreneur Forum. We are glad to have one or.
Thank you, Sridhar, and thank you all the panelists, esteemed panelists, and all the people who are online or offline.
Yes.
May I also suggest positive thoughts?
Yeah.
Positive life. The great humanity, Always think positive, always be positive, always act positive. Mansa vacha karmana. Should be Shuddha, should be pure. And also, may you all be blessed. May the country be blessed. In their suffering, extremely, we will get out of it. And my special love to your son, Sridhar.
Yeah, thank you.
He is the cause of your initiative. I give him my love, and he has a great future. And my Ashirvad to all.
Thank you.
May you all be happy and blessed. Sarv Mangal Mangalai Shiva Sarvat Sadke Shranyatam Ke Gauri Narayani Namastate Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you all.
Thank you so much.
May you be all happy. May all be blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining this. Due to some technical issues, a couple of them are not able to join, but I will send them the record of this version.
When is the next meeting?
I'll announce you maybe next couple of days with discussing all the panel doctors, like what will be the next topic. We'll make sure next this technical glitch won't happen because there is some maintenance from Zoom end. So unfortunately, we got this couple of issues.
Sridhar, may I suggest that in your next meeting, besides the vaccines, besides the allopathic aspect,
Sure.
also add Ayush, yoga, and lifestyle. You see,
Sure, doctor. Sure,
in the
Swamiji.
next meeting, and invite people on these areas also. Ultimately, what is going to matter is how we live. You know.
Sure,
And
Swami.
may I suggest to people, you may forward or people may like to go through our website, manusthal.org, and
Okay.
download the Mudra Shastra book.
Sure.
And that will be great help to the people, and it will be aid to the humanity to fight this pandemic and have a healthy lifestyle in future.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure,
Namaskar.
Swami.
Please
Thank you very
allow
much.
me to
Thank you all.
leave. And special thank you to Dr. Venkata, okay, and Shiva Kumarji, okay. Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Venkata, I'm very happy to be connected to you in this video conference. You are a highly educated, learned, and serviceman. May God bless you. Keep it up. You know what we do today, we do it for Paramartha, and what we do is today for our next lives, because we all believe that we have next lives and for higher consciousness. So may you all be blessed with actualization, realization, and illumination. Thank you so much. I must regret I was not ready. Actually, I was just in my Dhyan sadhana. So I'm sitting on my bed. I'm not properly dressed. I'm not in my asana. So I'm not in the best form of presentation. But my heart and my soul and my experience is with you. I think that is more important, right?
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Allow me to
Have a
allow me to lead.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatraman, Dr. Venkatramaji. Namaskaram. I look forward to visiting Hyderabad. It's a beautiful city.
Sure, Swamiji.
Sometime when things stabilize.
Yeah, definitely. We will meet.
You're most inspiring.
Thank you, Dr. Venkata. Thank you, Shridhar.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Shiva. Thanks to you all. God
Thank you
bless
so
you
much.
all. Keep it up.
You too. Thank
You
you.
all are very inspiring. Keep it up. Keep it up, please.
Thank you.
And let us know whatever we can do in humble way. We are always with you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.